Tonight, gas prices are spiking. Americans are now paying nearly $1 more per gallon at the pump. And the Trump administration is repeatedly dismissing their concerns about the economic toll of this war with Iran.
Rest assured to the American people, the recent increase in oil and gas prices is temporary.
The president said this, and I certainly agree with it. This is a temporary blip. It's not going to last forever.
If it were to be extended, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all. It would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would have to do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now, because we're very confident that this thing is going ahead of schedule.
But as the White House suggested, this turmoil is not long-term. Today, Donald Trump framed the issue differently.
And I saw what was happening in Iran, and I said, I hate to make this excursion, but we're going to have to do it. And I actually thought the numbers would be worse. I thought that it would go up more than it did. I thought it would be worse, much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
The thing that strikes me, Bakari, about all of this is that it's not just the war by itself. It's also the broader moment that we're in. The economy is sort of it's in a delicate place right now, where I think the policy decision making matters a lot. There were no jobs created last year. GDP growth is sort of mid at best, and now you have a war on top of that.
I mean, so at the end of the day, when we leave this show, we all have conversations with real people. When I'm in the barbershop with Tremaine and people are having conversations around with the barbers about March Madness and everything else, the number one question people ask is, why should I care about what's going on in Iran, right? And it's sometimes hard to drill down on it. But people are actually feeling this right now. They're not just feeling the gas prices, but they're feeling the fact that our needs aren't being met on a daily basis. They aren't seeing a clear line of distinction between the two parties. But they also realize that there's real human costs. Because at the end of the day, while the president's hawking shoes and all of his friends are going overseas and making money from defense contracts and whomever, and it's funny how in politics, and I think you said this a couple of blocks ago, how it makes strange bedfellows, how when you start talking a lot, you start sounding like Chip Roy, you start sounding like Marjorie Taylor Greene, with the fact that you see all of Donald Trump's friends making tons of money, while average everyday Americans are still angling to make ends meet. And so, yes, I can give the Secretary of Defense and Donald Trump credit for their military objectives on certain things being met. However, the lack of clarity is a problem, and the human cost and the average cost to everyday Americans is a problem. And it's hypocritical for anybody in MAGA to tell me that you're putting America first when you have Americans starving and you're not doing anything but kowtowing to whatever Donald Trump's wishes are.
Let me play, this is Minnesota Senate candidate Michelle Tafoya. She's a Republican.
I hope I don't sound like Michelle Tafoya.
Let me just play what she said, because this is just illustrating how they're struggling to figure out the messaging here.
I know it's frustrating, and I know it's hard for people. What I would say to them is, we've lost some service members over there who have put their lives on the line to protect us. I think right now, at least just kind of keeping a stiff upper lip. Maybe you take one less trip to Starbucks, and so that gas goes a little further until this thing is over and these gas prices come back down again. Let's just try to be patriots about this.
Reminds me of Jimmy Carter. Turn the thermostat down,
right,
to 50 whatever, 55
or when Pete Hegseth blames the press for the bad coverage of the war. That's like blaming the people covering the plane crash for the plane crashing.
Well, but Scott, you see that there's risk in a message like that. Just tell Americans, don't go to the grocery store quite as much. Don't go to Starbucks. Just suck it up for a little while.
Well, I mean, look, there's risk in everything. Every decision a president makes has risk, and none are riskier than the decision to commit troops to the theater of war, not just because of what can happen in the theater, but because of what can happen at home. Gas looks like it's $3.73 a gallon. It got somewhat higher than that during the Biden administration. It's now, we haven't gotten back to those numbers yet. But for candidates, going out and talking to people, they're in a little bit different situation than the commander in chief, who have to look at a national security situation. They have intelligence that nobody else has, and they have to make decisions knowing full well the risks that come with it. He made the call. The polling, by the way, among the Republican Party and among the MAGA friendly voters is quite clear. They trust the president on this. How long it lasts, and when we get out, we'll make a difference on that. But right now, they do stand right
is
behind
like
the president.
30% of the country,
And
the rest of the country does not agree.
This is the most unpopular war in American history, and for good reason. And the longer it goes on, the worse those numbers are going to look. There is no instance in history of prolonged war benefiting any nation. And
How do you know it's going to be prolonged?
We don't know it's not.
Because that's the story of pretty much every war ever.
How long
since World War
the
II.
Venezuela war last?
Well, that wasn't a war. That was but
we haven't had a war since World War II, Josh.
Yeah, well, I think the
Officially.
Vietnam generation would take issue with that, and the Iraq generation and the Afghanistan generation.
But I'm saying we haven't declared war.
Yeah, but if you ignore the lessons of all of those wars.
So you're sitting here saying a 3-week situation is the most unpopular thing we've ever done.
I'm saying that
you're using the term war a little.
I'm saying that Americans understand what's clear, which is that this is getting worse every day and expanding every day, and there's no clear path.
But can I
the war is expanding. More countries are getting attacked.
What we're forgetting.
The energy crisis is growing. The economic crisis is growing. Inflation is growing. Extremism and attacks on the homeland are growing. Everything is getting worse every day, and the war is expanding, despite President Trump saying
you're not exactly a glass half full kind of guy, are you?
Bakari,
I'm a real.
I was going to say. I was going to comment on that. I was just saying that there are a lot of things getting worse that people who are not sitting around this table or in this studio feel every single day. And I think that the problem is that when you call it a situation, or when Michelle Tafoya compares it to a Starbucks cup of coffee, people really turn off from that. And when Michelle,
I said it was the riskiest thing a president could do.
When Michelle Tafoya in her statement says when I listen to Michelle Tafoya, so this is where I'm addressing it. When she says things like take one less cup of coffee, and you see the coffin come back of the gentleman and his family running up, they're shrouded in the American flag, you know that is not worth just a cup of coffee. Like, when is Washington, D.C. going to wake up, I think is my argument. My argument is not with Scott Jennings. My argument is with people in Washington, D.C.
I'm in Washington.
Let me let Lydia have a
I'm
word,
very
please.
aware of the horrendousness of this excursion.
I just want to point out that there is a vast trove of reporting over the last few years saying that the president shouldn't be responsible for gas prices. When Biden was in office, CNN reported Americans blamed Biden for record prices at the pump. Biden had relatively little control over the prices set primarily by global markets. In 2025, CNN reported gasoline prices are coming down, and President Trump is happy to take credit for that. I would just note every other time period, the media tries to say that the president has anything to do with the gas price.
Did President Trump initiate a war that led to higher gas prices?
It depends who you ask. It depends who you ask.
Who initiated this particular conflict?
Well, look,
Trump and Bibi together.
Look, the answer is
Scott.
yes.
The answer is yes. Okay, so that's it.
But the question is, was it a worthy cause? And do the American
That's
people
actually not the
accept it?
question.
No,
it
is the question. That's how the politics shake
that's
out.
not the question that Lydia asked. Lydia asked who's responsible for the gas prices going up $1 per gallon in the last 30 days.
When Russia invaded Ukraine, it was all Putin's prices.
Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, but we knew they were going to do that.
But I'm saying
we
when
decided
Russia invaded Ukraine, everyone was happy to blame Putin. Why can't we blame Iran?
Hold on, guys. We decided that despite the risk of increased gas prices, we were going to act anyway. I'm not saying that's not a bad decision. That's a bad decision to make. I'm just saying that's a choice that we made, knowing that this was likely going to be the outcome. So President Trump, his response to that is basically, it's going to be brief, and if he's right, cool.
Well,
but if he's wrong,
it's going to be a problem. All right, guys. Trump, he claims he didn't know. He claims it's all a surprise and he got it all wrong. So I believe him.
He does claim that. No one else does, though.
Yeah.
Airline passengers and TSA agents are paying the price for that partial government shutdown that we're still in the middle of. But neither Democrats nor Republicans right now are budging on their red lines. That's next.